Who were you before shifting gears?
The question of the universe. Who was I? Who were any of us? That's starting before becoming a businessman and an entrepreneur and leading a team. I was not a very good kid in school. I didn't get very good grades. I barely made it through high school and didn't do any college. So I'm actually pretty amazed at how far I've gotten with the status quo telling me that I was never going to get anywhere with what I wanted. So especially my career guidance counselor, I think he'd be pretty surprised.
Where did you go to school and what shaped you during that time?
School was to say I went to school would be kind of an overstatement because I wasn't there very much. But I did go to Paso, and I did actually graduate from Paso Robles High in 2005. But most of my time was spent. They used to call them yellow cards, where you'd have someone call in, you get a yellow card, and you get the or pink card. I can't remember exactly what they were called, but I spent a lot of time away from school, and so a lot of the guidance was kind of built on working because a lot of the time I would leave the school and I'd have a side job or something else that I was doing on the side, and that's really shaped a lot of who I was as kind of the circle of people. And I'm really happy that I was around the friends that I had at the time because they taught me a lot that I didn't know at the time I was learning.
What experiences early on show you how you didn't want things to be done?
It takes a long time. I think you don't. I think it's ignorance, right? You don't know until you know. You don't know what you don't know, I guess is what they say. And so I spent a lot of time not getting treated very well or not getting paid as I should, and kind of following the status quo of like a shop is greasy and dirty, and you eat your lunch with your greasy hands. You take lunch when you can. You get paid, you know, nothing. So it was important for me to once I started realizing the opportunity and the potential. That's what was really important. Really lit a fire under me to like get this place going and learn more in my industry of more than just what the status quo is, right? And for a long time, I get offended by that, right? If someone says, "Oh man, how many people you rip off at the shop," right? And all this is like, but we're so beyond that now. I shrug it off now. But it's a stigma that sticks, and so that stigma alone is what's like put a nail in or a thorn in my side to make sure that we're doing something better.
Why was it important for you to build this place differently?
It was important to make sure that people were treated correctly. There's a story Leanne had about when she left to go to college. There was a shop that, and they didn't rip her off. Like it was just a lack of communication. And at the time, it didn't make sense to me. I just got frustrated. I tried to make the phone call and say, "Hey, man, you need to make this right." And it's like now I see the bigger picture. And the thing is, he was trying his best, right? The shop was trying their best. They really were. They just had a lack of understanding of what it takes to have the customer experience be good and not just take care of the vehicle. We get too wrapped up in making sure the car's fixed perfectly, that we diagnose it correctly, and that's all well and good. That's a given. But we miss the human element of being able to say, "I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to contact you at 10 and 3 o'clock. This is the repair. This is what the repair entails." There's so many parts into a vehicle. You can't just say, "I'm going to fix this," and now all your problems are going to go away. You have to break that down, but break it down with kid gloves, really, right? It was like you have to explain it to me like I've never done this before. And I think doctors do that a lot too, right? Where you walk in and they expect you to know these things, right? And they tell you, "We're going to do this, and you need this prescription, and you need this." And it's like, "Well, wait a second. I don't want to take all these. I don't want all these supplements. I don't want my baby to have all these shots. Can you explain to me? In fact, why don't you take a minute and just for once think, like, I've never had a kid before and I'm not in the medical industry. Can you explain to me like I've never done this before?" Let's start there. And I think everyone, it's bedside manner, right? I think we all miss that in our own individual industries.
What did these experiences teach you about responsibility and trust?
Responsibility and trust is key. Uh, they kind of go hand in hand. If you're responsible, people will trust you. That's the bottom line. And trust is something that you can't buy. It takes time, and that's it. Time is the only thing we can't get back, and we can't pay to have any more of.
Why Paso Robles? Why build this here?
That's a good question. So, Paso Robles is home. I would say I don't know any different. I mean, that would be the easiest thing. I didn't have, a lot of money growing up. I didn't have time or money to go traveling around and see any other part of the country or part of the state. So this was just home. This is just where it has to be. Uh, and and I think we're lucky here. I really truly do, because as I've grown older and now I have the financials and the time to travel around, every time I travel, the best part about it is when I get to come back home. So I just love it here.
How does being part of this community influence how you run this shop?
Community is everything. Without the community support, you're gonna fail. Um, we live to serve. Every single person that comes in the shop is what pays our bills, and a lot of businesses look at customers as just a number, and it becomes easy to do that when you start running a business instead of running in the business. You start working on the business instead of in the business. You start looking at numbers differently. You start looking at how that money comes in differently, and you have to always make sure you're taking a step back and realize the community that you're in, and that every single person comes in is what's funding your lifestyle and every employee in that business as well. So community is everything.
What does doing it right mean to you?
Doing it right. Doing it right is making sure that the client is taken care of, making sure that the customer is taken care of, and it goes beyond fixing the car. The car has to be fixed. Like, I'm not going to argue with that point. That has to be done. Like, someone can't go to an auto shop and leave with a broken car. Like, okay, you failed, right? But the other side of that is you could fix the car and the customer could still not be happy. And that's the key point there that we're trying every single day to work on, because just because your car is fixed does not mean that they had a good experience or that they're going to come back.
When someone trusts you with their car, what matters the most to you?
The trust is I mean, that answers the question in itself. The trust is something that we can't manufacture. So bringing your vehicle to our shop, shifting gears, that alone is giving us the opportunity to build your trust, to earn your trust, and that's everything, because that what allows us to move on to the next repair, and then your kids' cars and all your friends and your neighbors. Word of mouth is everything. Go back to the community, right? Word of mouth is what spreads like wildfire and keeps everybody together, right? I want you to tell your neighbors where to go so that you become the guru, right? I want to give you that power, so when you bring your vehicle to me, you know where to send your friends and your neighbors.
And one last question. Why do you do this?
I do this because I don't know any better. Oh man, there's so many times that I was just like, I ask myself that same question, right? Why am I doing this? Why didn't I pay attention more in school? Why didn't I get a college degree? Right? There's all those questions, right? You start doubting yourself when things aren't going well, and I just always have to remind myself that because of those things, it put me in the position where I'm at, and now I get to see and have realistically, the power to change the auto industry, right? I can do this every single day. I get to treat people, my employees, my technicians, I get to give them training that they need. I get to pay them well. I get to take care of the community. I get to make sure that every vehicle that comes to the shop is actually fixed and fixed right, and be transparent and honest and communicative about it. And every single day I have an opportunity to change our business for the better. And that is the most valuable opportunity that's ever been given to me.